Holmes under the hammer star issues plea to Eamonn Holmes after sad admission. Eamonn Holmes recently suffered an on-air tumble which shocked his GB News co-stars. Eamonn Holmes has been dealing with several health woes in recent weeks after the GB News presenter was rushed to hospital following a fall at his home. The broadcaster, 65, sparked concern last week when he fell off his chair live on air. His ongoing health concerns has resulted in him using a wheelchair. The former This Morning presenter, who has split from his wife Ruth Langsford, made a sad admission. Holmes under the hammer star Jacqui Joseph has since reached out to the veteran broadcaster. In a candid post on X, Eamonn took to social media to share an old photo of himself broadcasting which he captioned, "Great picture popped up from 3 years ago but it's made me sad, I could walk. Got to redouble my efforts." BBC star Jacqui replied, "Stay well Eamonn." His comments come after Eamonn fell off his chair live on air where a crash could be heard off screen and the broadcaster's co-host Ellie Costello exclaimed, "Oh my gosh." Eamonn was then heard saying, "I'm fine, 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 carry on, carry on." After an extended 6-minute break, he returned to screens, joking, "I'm still alive," and blamed the wonky wheels on his chair. The broadcaster has been suffering problems with his mobility for a number of years. In 2016 he underwent a double hip replacement, only for things to worsen in 2021. It was then Eamonn slipped 3 discs in his back, causing him to lose mobility. And last year his back surgery reportedly went wrong, leaving him needing a wheelchair ever since. Eamonn Holmes, 65, flooded with support after sad health update as GB News star concedes, few people care about the sick. The breakfast host reflected on his health woes in a candid social media post today. Eamonn Holmes has been flooded with support after he shared a heartbreaking health update on social media, posting a throwback photograph from 3 years ago that left him feeling deeply saddened. The GB News presenter, 65, initially shared the image on Instagram this morning before deleting it moments later, then reposting it to his X account for his 1.1 million followers. The photograph showed the breakfast fan favorite looking dapper in a suit and black trench coat, standing confidently in what appeared to be a car park in front of a DMC-12 sports car, with a TV camera crew visible in the background. Accompanying the image, Eamonn wrote, "Great picture popped up from 3 years but it's made me sad, I could walk." Eamonn Holmes vows to redouble his efforts to walk again. Eamonn Holmes has vowed to redouble his efforts to walk again. The 65-year-old has suffered a series of falls, surgeries and health setbacks that have left him reliant on canes and a wheelchair, and has now shared a poignant update with fans on social media, alongside a photograph of himself from 2022, standing tall in a suit beside a DeLorean sports car. He captioned it, "Great picture popped up from 3 years but it's made me sad, I could walk. Got to redouble my efforts." The TV presenter, who rose to fame as a host on ITV's This Morning, and now fronts GB News Breakfast, has been grappling with a string of health issues over recent years. He suffered a fall live on air earlier this year, which came just 2 weeks after he had been hospitalized following a similar incident. Both falls aggravated existing injuries from a spinal operation in 2022, as well as previous accidents at his Surrey home. The most recent fall occurred during his GB News segment, when a chair reportedly gave way beneath him. Speaking at the end of the program, Eamonn told viewers, "The chair gave way and I was lying flat on my back with my head hanging off the set. The first hour or so I was okay because the adrenaline kicked in, but then as the morning went on I felt the aches and pains. The worst thing is that 2 weeks ago I was hospitalized for a similar fall in the same area, back of my neck, head and shoulders, and that's all come back." He added, "We're going to have to replace the chairs because I'm not the only one to have fallen." Fans have since rallied around Eamonn, sending words of encouragement in response to his post on X. One wrote, "Keep pushing forward, Eamonn. Perseverance always pays off." Another commented, "Wolf whistle, still got it, Eamonn." The veteran broadcaster, who had a double hip replacement in 2016, has continued to suffer from chronic pain since a follow-up spinal procedure in September 2022. In 2021, he was rushed to hospital after what was described as pain he's never felt in his life. Further complications came in 2023 when he fractured his shoulder during a fall at home. Away from the studio, Eamonn is also dealing with personal upheaval as currently going through a divorce from Ruth Langsford, 65, with whom he previously shared a £3.6 million home in Surrey. He was seen using a mobility scooter in public in late 2023 and appeared at the TRIC Awards using a walking frame, later telling reporters he was not okay. Despite his physical challenges, Eamonn has continued to appear on screen, earning praise from colleagues who have described him as a trooper for carrying on amid his health fight. Eamonn Holmes issues worrying health update after falling off chair on live TV. Eamonn Holmes has issued a heartbreaking health update days after falling off his chair live on GB News. The presenter, 65, was also taken to hospital earlier in the month after he had a fall at his home. Sharing his dismay at his current state, Eamonn took to social media to share a picture of himself looking healthy and sprightly from just 3 years ago. The presenter said it made him sad to see his decline as he told fans, "I could walk." In a bid to stay positive, Eamonn added, "Got to redouble my efforts." The presenter has been working hard on his rehabilitation after undergoing spinal surgery in 2022 for chronic back pain caused by 3 slipped discs. Over the last year he has been seen using a walking aid and a wheelchair as his mobility has become affected, reports The Mirror. Just last week, Eamonn sparked concern from fans when he took a tumble from his seat while presenting the GB News breakfast show. During his Wednesday show, with his co-host Ellie Costello, a crash could be heard while the camera was focused on their guest, commentator Charlie Rowley. Costello could be heard saying, "Oh my gosh," off-screen, and Holmes pleaded with Rowley to carry on before the presenter returned to the show following a break. Holmes said, "Welcome back. Good to see you again. Especially good for me to see you again. I am still alive, yes. And they're very wonky wheels on chairs that we've got here, and matter of fact, we don't really like the chairs full stop, do we? They're a bit slippy and sliddy and I've slipped and slid off mine there. Not the first guest to have done so, we've had a few, they have to remain nameless because they're well-known people, but they've hit the floor really badly, quite frightening. And it was a bit of a shock for me because I've had a fall in my bathroom 2 weeks ago, which hospitalized me, and that hit me again right in the back. I'm really sore. Really sore." He later said the chair gave way, which meant he was lying flat on his back. He added, "As the morning goes on, you feel aches and pains. The worst thing about this, of course, this was at a time when I was hospitalized 2 weeks ago for a very similar fall in the same area, back of the head, my neck, my shoulders. So it all came back, as it were." On X, formerly Twitter, Rowley wrote, "At Eamonn Holmes, you are the real hero for carrying on this morning. A true professional and national treasure who I learn from each and every week. It's a privilege working with you, at Ellie Costello TV and the rest of the at GB News family. Take care." On May 2, in an Instagram post that included a photo from the inside of an ambulance, Holmes thanked the crew who had helped him after he fell on his bathroom floor. Eamonn said he was lucky to have his phone within reach and was able to call for an ambulance. The former This Morning host has long battled health issues after dislodging discs in his back, which he said previously impinged on his sciatic nerve and affected the mobility of his right leg. He has spoken about going through spinal surgery, a double hip replacement, and his struggles walking and using a mobility scooter. Last year, Holmes and his wife Ruth Langsford announced their split, after tying the knot in 2010. Eamonn revealed in 2022 that his health problems caused issues in his marriage to then-wife, Loose Women star Ruth Langsford. "Even my own family are bored of my moaning," he said. "It has caused some strain and Ruth is fed up of hearing about it and of me saying I can't walk the dog or tidy up, but I can't help it. It's agony." Following his split from Ruth, Eamonn has moved on and is now dating marriage counselor Katie Alexander, 43. The pair posed for their first social media pictures together earlier this month. Katie posed for cozy selfies with Holmes, who was in a wheelchair, and her dog Dottie in the clip, which was captioned, "Lovely weather, lovely company."